probably seen our next guest on TV or social media. He's known as the nicest judge in the world, famous for his empathy and willingness to give many a second chance.
You are charged with a school zone violation.
Right. I don't drive that fast, Judge. I'm 96 years old and I drive slowly, and I only drive when I have to. I was going to the blood work for my boy. He's handicapped.
Huh. You were taking your son to the doctor's office?
Yeah, I take him for blood work every 2 weeks because he's got cancer.
You are a good man. I wish the best for your son, and I wish you good health, and your case is dismissed.
He is the nicest judge, right? And he's with us now, spreading positivity, faith, and self-confidence with his new book, Compassion in the Court. Please welcome Judge Frank Caprio. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So I got to tell you this. Your show went national at 80 years old, and now you're this global social media sensation. Everybody loves you. You're a household name. How does that make you feel?
Well, time is no bar to success. It took a long time. It gives me vindication for the upbringing of my parents, because whatever I've done, compassion and understanding and sympathy really emanates from my upbringing, my early childhood. My parents were immigrants from Italy, and they took care of all the neighbors and helped them, and it was those influences that really influenced my life.
Why at this point did you decide to write this book? What inspired you to do this?
I decided to write the book to tell the story about my life, particularly about the influences of my parents and my neighborhood and first-generation Americans.
And you talk about your first day as a judge, how you learned compassion. You learned compassion from your dad?
My dad was a milkman, and one of the big problems was when people couldn't afford to pay their milk bill, that he was told that he had to stop delivery, and not deliver the milk. My father had his own rule. If they had children, he never stopped the milk. And actually, he would many times make a contribution from his own pocket and tell the company that they were paying. So I learned all of these lessons, with my parents.
But a lot of times people look at a judge and they think a judge is supposed to be tough on people, tough on criminals in the courtroom, yet you're kind.
Because you have authority, doesn't mean you have to exercise that authority in a bad way. And unfortunately, some people get carried, and they're judges, get carried away with their own authority. I always operate under the premise that let me place myself in the shoes of that person before me. And what would I do? And how would I feel if I were there? And how would I want to be treated? And so I always try to treat people like I always want to be treated myself.
What would you say to those people, though? Because, there are a lot of people who look at people who are accused of crimes and say they don't deserve a second chance. What would be your message to them?
I say wake up, smell the roses. We're all in this together. Our life really depends on others, how we treat others and how they treat us. And compassion and understanding and sympathy are all things that we should exercise every single day in our life. It'll make life better, not only for us, but for our community and for our country.
Doesn't cost a dime to be kind.
Doesn't cost, exactly right. It's free.
Judge, thank you so much for being here with us
Thank
today.
you,
We
Judge.
really appreciate it. And you can find Compassion in the Court everywhere books are sold, or you can scan that QR code right there at the bottom of your screen if you'd like to purchase a copy.
Can't get enough of this guy right here.